What time is it for you there right now?
3:38 p.m.
PM. Okay, got it. So it's not too crazy.
Oh no.
And are you getting like dark at night, or is it light all day long?
Good question. Right now it's that period of the year when it is kind of normal, but it used to
Okay.
be dark all the time, and it's getting closer to being light all day long.
Is it interesting? Yeah, I thought that was really curious about Iceland. Very unique for sure. Well, Max, if you wouldn't mind, I've got the recording going now. If you could just start by sharing a little bit about the kinds of AI projects that you've worked on recently through Upwork and the types of clients those have come through.
Yes, so I have got over 60 projects on Upwork, and I think 90% of those are directly related to AI development, and the projects are of all kinds actually, but mostly businesses are approaching me with some idea of what they want to automate, maybe customer support or outreaching to, or rather reaching out to new potential clients, etc. And then I serve as the bridge between their idea and actually implementing it. So answering your question, I cannot say what are the exact. It's very difficult to say what is the exact structure of every project because of how new is the industry. But in a nutshell, the process looks like where the business just approaches me with the idea of what they would like to automate. Then we define what can be actually automated reliably, and we implement it.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's interesting. And I know you mentioned like customer support and lead generation. So you feel like those are like more common use cases?
Yes. And current AI technology is, how to say, sometimes what I see, businesses are still not that positive towards voice AI because of occasional hiccups. But regarding AI which communicates via text, businesses are pretty much okay as soon as it does not include those M dashes, and as long as it doesn't include those M dashes and yeah,
I can't stand M dashes.
Customer support are by far the most popular use cases.
It's interesting to hear that. I've done a fair amount of lead generation, so I can understand that as well. I'm also curious, like when clients come to you on the platform, are they looking for specific tools or models like GPT or Claude, or are they more open to your recommendations?
They are open for recommendation.
Okay.
Mostly based on the latest news, they suggest the model. Like if currently in the news Claude has released the best model, then let's use Claude Sonnet or Claude Opus. If Gemini, then Gemini. But all in all, clients, to be honest, I think clients do not really care which model is used as long as the result is good.
Okay. Yeah. It's interesting to hear that. It's very and it makes sense. I think I've heard from others that Claude right now seems to be like pretty popular amongst clients. You feel, yeah, that's interesting how the news is able to influence that. I'm also curious, when you're first talking to clients in the platform, or prospects, I guess you could call them, do you spend a fair amount of time going back and forth to define the project requirements? If so, can you share a little bit about like that process?
The current way I handle new incoming requests from clients is mostly revolving around me trying to find out and get client or prospect to define what exactly they want to achieve at the end. Because apart from that, I truly do not need anything else much from them because all of the tools are already available out there, automation platforms, LLM providers, etc. I may I may request access to some of the platforms of the client, maybe their Gmail account, or ask them to invite me to their make.com account, just as an example, just something of that nature. But at the project structure stage, it feels like it feels like a bit of a black box because the things which clients want to automate are almost always a bit different, and I develop some form of custom solution to each one, and the only thing which I need from them is just the final result which they envision as the perfect one. And then, as I said, black box, I just do something, and at the end they have hopefully what they were looking for. But so far, seems that they are actually getting it.
Interesting. And I'm also curious, like, when you say they're getting it, like, are they coming to you with like documentation, or is it more just like, here's my idea, this is what I want it to look like? Like, could you explain a little bit more about like what types of documents they come with?
Yeah. Right now, what mostly happens is I got texts which are literally just a couple of sentences, like I look for AI automation expert. Then I ask for PRD, product requirements document. And, well, no, at first I ask the client to describe his project just in a couple of words. And then I ask for PRD to get more details on what he or she wants. And then I get the document quite fast because I see that people are literally using the other LLM to generate the document. But I'm laughing just because sometimes I can get the document in literally 2 minutes after requesting, like 10 pages document, just 2 minutes after. But so far that's the way me and my client get into understanding of how and what they want to build.
Interesting. Yeah, I've heard that from a handful of freelancers on the platform. They often feel like the product requirements docs are generated by AI. Like, it's pretty obvious, right?
Yeah, I mean, I myself use AI all the time, so I'm not judging. I'm rather just revealing some details and peculiarities of the process. Yeah.
Sure. And I mean, I feel like I might already know the answer, but like, oftentimes you feel like the documents they generate aren't sufficient for your needs.
I would say even opposite. The documents have too much detail. Again, because of how creative and artistic is AI. But then I still need to simplify it to get into agreement with the actual person, to get on the same page on what they want in just more simple, not that much formal techie language, because mostly I get the texts and requests from non-technical folks. Therefore, I see that the document is actually just perfect, like the template of what the product requirements document is supposed to be. But I still gotta just simply chat with the client afterwards in order to clarify what he wants, and then just get him to say yes in order for me to verify that my suspicions are true.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting. I was expecting the other way around, but I think that makes sense, right? It's gonna create a detailed technical requirements document, right? If that's what they're asking for. But it sounds like in a lot of cases it's too detailed, and maybe it abstracts away the purpose of the project.
Yeah, clients mostly do not care about that technical implementation side. They just want to have X amount of leads reached out to per day in order to have X amount of appointments booked per week. So, and they're not really that much concerned with the exact tech stack being used, as long as it is not expensive and brings results. So surprisingly, you get better results with it's not development part, but with sales part, but by being more simple in your language and outcome oriented rather than implementation oriented. I think that the antonym, the opposite term to outcome oriented.
Yeah, that's a really great insight. I think you articulated it really well. I'm also curious because it seems like there's a fair amount of back and forth that happens before you actually start a project. Are you ever charging for that process?
I will be honest, I tried at some point, like immediately asking the client to start the contract with some small milestone, like $50 to $100. But mostly clients are, how to say, they get resistance to that. I guess because they have just tons of freelancers and they just don't feel that need to invest right away. So I did try it. I know I faced that people basically start mostly ghosting after this, or they just do not pay, just keep talking. And right now I provide the consultation and the project planning, at least in a nutshell, without charging upfront.
Interesting. Yeah, you raise a good point. Like, there's a lot of freelancers that probably will do it for free.
Yeah,
I don't know if they'll do a good job, right? That probably depends on the person. But it makes it difficult, right? When you're essentially competing against them to win the work, you're trying to charge, but they're willing to do it for free. Of course, if the client's limited on budget, they're going to opt for the free option, the less expensive option. So I understand the challenge for sure. I'm also curious, like, how you're winning work on the platform. Is it mainly via inbound, people coming to you via invites, or is it also proposals?
That's another good question. I didn't conduct the analysis of where I got most of my projects, but mostly just from my memory, I can say that those are especially around summer of last year, I was getting a lot of invitations to interview, and I was applying for those jobs, and those were quite easy to get because the client is already interested. I was replying promptly, and we were just the match most of the times. Right now, I've got just a lot of projects going on just within my existing ecosystem, so I'm not that much looking for the other work. But the project which I do get is inbound. But I started getting less invitations and direct messages as I increased my rates on Upwork. And I don't know, maybe people also see those badges like Top Rated Plus, Job Success Score, and for some people it is just attractive, but for some people it might be like, oh, I just came here to find some third worlder to hire for cheap, and no, I don't want to pay extra for all that premium. But yeah, that's just my assumption. But again, yeah, to answer your question, mostly inbound and job interview invitations. It used to be my main source of obtaining new jobs, but not as much now. Right now, I'm more in the mode of fulfilling serving my existing customers and also improving my skills in order to serve them better and with less time input from my side.
That makes complete sense. I hear you. Well, it's good. Yeah, it's good to hear that you've got a fair number of clients you're working with, right? I'm also curious, like, when you were still searching for work or evaluating clients, how did you determine if somebody was serious and willing to spend money?
Well, at the very start, it was as simple as just seeing the level of grammar of the person. So sometimes I saw like typos in the person's first message, and it immediately. So I saw the correlation between how formal is the language of the person and how they are likely to turn into paying customer. So that's already, even though it sounds super simple, but that's already a good indicator. And secondly, I mean, it is like a chicken and the egg problem, but I saw the client's payment history. So you can see how much they have spent on the platform, average rate, amount of freelancers hired. I understand that it can be a good, so not a good, but actively hiring custom client who is just starting out. So it's like, again, chicken or the egg. But most of the times, if it was the very first project of the client, like zero hired, $0 total spent on the platform, then I think I've got only one customer client like this signed throughout this whole process of my journey on Upwork. But yeah, if the person has already hired on the platform, then most of the times I have closed them and we started the actual contract on Upwork.
Very cool. Interesting. Yeah, and the grammar point is also really interesting. I think it says a lot about how much effort they're willing to put in, right?
Yeah.
How serious they are. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Right now, I'm sometimes myself making typos in order to show the other person that the text was created by me, not AI. But it's like yeah, next level.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you say that because that's what was going through my head. I was like, well, at least they're a real person and not just like using AI to automate their budget, right? So I guess in some ways it's nice to know, but also can be a red flag at the same time. I'm also curious, out of the clients that you've worked with, can you think of any situations where the work just hasn't gone according to plan, or maybe you weren't able to achieve the outcome they were looking for?
I can say that there were a couple of projects where sincerely I didn't have enough level of skill, so I had to just refund the customer. So I can't say anything bad about their expectations. I just knew that now I can say that I wasn't good enough skills-wise in order to fulfill on what they wanted, regardless of whether it was realistic or not, but I know that, yeah, it was the case. Sometimes, I mean, literally, recently I closed one project. I won't say any names or like identifiable details, but it was very strange. It was very strange. I was delivering good work. AI agents which I created were and actually are right now handling the customer support of the brand on Instagram for which I have developed those. But it happened so that it felt like client was actually was constantly requesting changes which were very intangible. So it was literally just changes in like some words which AI agent returns, like and it was fluctuating every week. So we could not reach some set point of like there is some source of truth. We decided that it is what it must be like, and then we can say when it is achieved that we have created the AI agent which meets the required criteria. No, it was not. It was not the case in this project, and I mean, I managed to just close it peacefully with the client, just to let them find the other freelancer who might create what they want. But sometimes there is an issue with defining the requirements upfront, because like here this project was literally extended unnecessarily for a couple of months because of, again, that unclarity, basically lack of clarity on what the client wants. I do not take off my responsibility. Maybe it was my lack of skill on understanding what the client wants, but man, I just tried so many times from different angles, changing what he exactly asks me to, and still no. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
yeah, no, go ahead. Did you have something else down?
No, it feels a bit painful to me, so I think I could be speaking about it forever. So I
I
just
understand.
gave the gist.
No, and I honestly don't think, based on what you've shared with me, I think there was some elements of it that was out of your control, right? Um, and I worry that about a lot of projects that involve, LLMs in general, because there's this element of unpredictability and hallucination.
Exactly.
And when you're defining the requirements, it's like you try and define it as rigidly as possible to prevent scope creep and to align with the client, right? So that their expectations are met in accordance with yours. But when the LLM's output is varying naturally, as it should, being an LLM, it makes it difficult to say yes, this aligns, or no, this doesn't align with clarity, right? So I can see how that would be a challenge, and I'm curious if this is the only time that you've run into that challenge, because I would expect that there's probably been other cases where you've created agents or chatbots and the output may not be word for word exactly what the client wants, but generally the function of it is in alignment with your expectations and with the expectations you set.
Yeah, yeah, that's where it is the case. So it totally depends on type of client you work with. So some clients they are much less picky, I guess. So they just want the function to be served. But sometimes, as it happened with that project, the client wants. I still didn't get what the client wanted, but they had very specific requirements on what exactly AI agent must say. And as you Aaron said, that's right. AI agents are rather probabilistic, not deterministic, and the output they produce, AI agents, is not rigid. I mean, you can control it with the temperature parameter, but here you also do not want AI agent to just become like quote machine instead of using its main power, this flexibility given by its intelligence, basically all those trained parameters within it. And yeah, I think it depends on the type of client. So if the client wants to find something wrong, then probably he will succeed, because somewhere AI agent will not use the exact word specified in the conversation playbook. But if the client cares more about the way AI agent communicates, or rather produces output, not the exact every word and punctuation symbol, in that case, there are no issues.
Interesting. Yeah, I think there's some cases probably where it makes sense to steer a client away from AI towards something more simple, like decision tree, right? Where it's just using standard conversation, language to respond. Have you ever done that in the past with clients? Have you ever pushed them away from AI?
Yes, I did. Well, yes, I have. I think I just never let them know that. So mostly I just changes on my technical side, but for them it's just seamless process of oh, okay, it wasn't as accurate at defining what to do, like making the decision, but I just changed the automation to use code instead of AI agent node, for example, to make the decision.
Interesting. And as far as they're concerned, it's still artificial intelligence, right? It's just a different form.
I rather isolate artificial intelligence modules to only perform the task of generating the text output. So decision making or even classification is as much as possible done using just simple code logic. And then only for that most creative task, like generating the exact text reply or generating the image, that's when and where I use AI with the goal of keeping the system as we said, deterministic as possible, so it is predictable, but also with the perks of AI, where it can give some creative outputs as well, such as maybe personalized message for the outreach to the client for lead generation campaign or something of that nature.
Got it. Yeah. So there's this kind of layer of codified logic that classifies the input and determines how the output should be structured, and that is used as an input for the LLM to generate a creative message, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that extra layer I think can be really helpful, right? It's steering it in the right direction so it doesn't go off the rails. I think that makes sense. I just have a couple more questions for you, and then I'd love to leave you a nice testimonial on your Upwork profile just to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I really do appreciate it, and you've shared some really great insights. We talked a little bit about like when clients come to you, how they describe what they want to build, the language they use, how they create their documentation. I'm also curious, like if you've picked up on any myths or misconceptions pertaining to AI, that clients typically have.
I actually will be, again, I think you rather expected me to say something that people think they can automate their whole businesses with AI, but instead of that, they just get, brutal reality. What I noticed is actually quite different. People come with just one process they want to automate. Maybe they want. So I have this current project with a real estate agency, and we started with the first process of automating the evaluation of how real estate transaction document, how well real estate transaction document fits the criteria which is defined in the checklist for the type of property this real estate transaction document is for. So like does this multi-decades page document have all of the information for residential single-family house document, or for just simple condo document, etc. And that was the first and only thing which the client wanted to automate at first. But then as we developed this system and they saw what is possible, they asked me to work on the other thing, which is automate filling out some of the documents just based on, again, what type of property they are for, and what are some details of the deal which can be extracted from their cloud storage documents. And it is just one example of many situations where I saw the client starting out just more humbly with one process they want to automate with AI, and moving to just so much more parts automated as well. So not only document analysis, but also customer support, but also called DMs or called emails automation, or also triage automation. So categorizing the level of how to say it, what the level of priority of every received message is, etc. And yeah, we did discuss that AI is not really magic wand yet. It's quite often I still switch to just simple code for a lot of tasks, but clients mostly underestimate what they can automate and optimize in their businesses using AI systems. So I will call these AI systems because these are not just something you just throw to AI, just in prompt. no, you still use quite a lot of code or just logic in the automations, like it is on NA10 or make.com. But eventually, with the right combination of just pure LLM calling, like generate me this and that, and the more robust, maybe not for the lack of a better term, just rigid hard-coded logic, these create AI systems which are able to automate much more things reliably within businesses than business owners right now realize. And I think Upwork does the perfect job at connecting the business owners who have just some curiosity and willingness to try out AI with by connecting those people with the AI enthusiasts who have experience in it and might basically expand the perspective of these business owners on how they can utilize artificial intelligence for the most impact, for the best efficiency of processes, and let's be honest, for the highest profit margins and save time, because that's definitely the highest priority of every normal business owner. So, yeah. To conclude, I would say business owners mostly are humble and a bit tiptoey about where and how much use AI in their business. But with the right AI systems, so not just amateur AI just prompts, but with proper AI systems, a lot of processes within the business of even one specific client can be reliably optimized with AI.
Yeah, like I guess you could say like they're AI augmented systems, right? It's a combination of coding logic and usually natural language processing and LLM generated outputs. But I think you're absolutely right. There's a lot of potential there, and I can definitely see how maybe clients are skeptical or wary of the limitations, so much so that they're imposing limitations on themselves, right?
Well, most of the times they just don't know. It's not even that they know and they think it will not work. Sometimes they just, like in that, there is a graph, they don't know what they don't know. So, and here, I think that's part of the job of AI automation specialists to not only complete what the client says he wants, but also be a bit intuitive on what he might want in addition to his current request, and at least suggest it, or even better, implement it, show the client that it already works, and tell him if he wants to have it, developed fully to the production level. Yeah.
Interesting. Do you think it would be helpful if the platform in some way recommended other avenues to utilize AI or AI augmented processes in the business to kind of like guide the client toward new opportunities?
It sounds like a good idea, but at the same time, if the person is only, again, from my experience, people who are reaching out to me, they are not experts in AI, and it might scare them off in some way. When there is just this crazy subcategorization, AI for that, AI for that, AI for that, maybe it's easier to have what it is like right now, where just business owners come in and they have just this one huge umbrella of AI for business, and then, as it happens for every use case, they get a roadmap on how to AI optimize their organizations. Maybe what would really help is if on Upwork there was categories of AI for different industries, maybe not specific processes, but AI for legal companies, or AI for e-commerce brands, or AI for social media marketing agencies. I think that would really help.
Interesting. And you mean like kind of like a library of use cases more so?
Also that, but also, so right now on on Upwork, there are skills you can pick as a freelancer. So the skills which you provide services for, like, I don't know, blockchain, customer support, also artificial intelligence is one of the skills, but maybe adding more labels. So not just artificial intelligence, but maybe artificial intelligence for e-commerce brands.
Okay.
Something of that kind. Yeah, that would how to say, narrow down the area in which every freelancer is proficient. So it saves time, because if the client looks for AI for his real estate business, he will not reach out to someone who is an expert in AI for e-commerce brands.
Interesting. Yeah, I almost wonder if maybe there's a way in the job creation process that they can select their industry, right, and have that automatically appended.
Yeah, I actually think right now that using different features of Upwork, you can combine it together. It's kind of possible, but again, if that's one of the first times of the person on Upwork, then they will never figure it out like easily.
Interesting. Yeah, this is really interesting insight, and I'll make sure to share this with the team as well, because I think they're open to those kinds of ideas, right? We're constantly exploring ways to improve the discovery process for clients and for talent. So I thank you for that, and also for all of your other insights. I feel like that's actually a good place to wrap it up. So I'll go ahead and stop the recording for now.